Hey guys, it's Savannah Nicole and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be switching things up and telling you the true story of princesses. I want to make this kind of like a series on my channel, so I will start a new playlist as well with all the princesses that I do, but today we are going to figure out the true story of Snow White while I do my makeup, of course.
The story starts with a queen who is sewing while looking out her windowsill. As snow flurries fall, she ends up pricking her finger. 3 drops of blood fall onto the snow, and she thinks, "If only I could have a daughter that was as white as the snow, as red as my blood, and as black as the ebony windowsill." Luckily, the queen got her wish. Fast forward some, and Snow White is 6. She's grown into a beautiful young girl that everyone adores, and her mother, the queen, is jealous of her. One morning, the queen asks her magic mirror, "Who in this land is fairest of all?" And it answers, "You, my queen, are fair, it's true, but Snow White is 1,000 times fairer than you." This infuriates the queen, so she launches a plot to get Snow White killed. She orders a huntsman to bring her now 7-year-old daughter into the woods, stab her to death, and bring back her lungs and liver so the queen can eat them. Fortunately, the huntsman took pity on Snow and told her to run away, to somewhere her mom couldn't find her. He killed a wild boar and brought its lungs and liver to the queen. Snow White wanders around until she comes across a tiny house that has 7 of everything. She helps herself to a little food and wine from each place setting, then tries out every bed until she passes out. When the 7 dwarfs come home, they see Snow White, and because she looks sweet and innocent, they decide not to wake her until the morning. The dwarf whose bed she took shared an hour in each bed. In the morning, Snow awoke to the dwarfs all staring at her. She then told her story of how she ended up there. They took pity on the young girl and tell her she can stay as long as she needs if she promises to make them dinner and keep the place clean. The queen starts her day asking the mirror her question again, and to her surprise it replies, "You, my queen, are fair, it's true, but little Snow White beyond the 7 mountains is 1,000 times fairer than you." The queen knew only the dwarfs lived beyond the mountains, so she figured they must have saved her daughter. The queen vowed to kill Snow White even if it killed her in the process. She goes to the dwarf's house disguised as an old peddler woman selling lace, and when Snow White buys some, she offers to lace her up properly. She laces up the bodice so tight Snow White passes out from lack of oxygen. When the dwarves get home, they find her, cut the laces, and she can breathe again. The next day, the queen learns that Snow White survived, so she dresses up differently and goes to the cabin with a poisoned comb. At first, Snow said she couldn't let anyone in, but she liked the comb, so she let this random lady brush her hair with it and passed out immediately. But when the dwarfs came back and removed it from her head, she was saved. Now, on the 3rd day, when the queen found out Snow White still wasn't dead, she was furious beyond belief and made a foolproof plan. She crafted a poison apple and disguised herself again. Snow White said she couldn't buy anything or let anyone inside because the dwarfs would be mad at her. The queen's foolproof plan came into action, though, because she only poisoned half the apple. So she took a bite from the safe side to convince Snow it was okay and handed it through the window at no charge. Right after the apple touched the girl's lips, she fell dead. The dwarfs came home that night to her dead body, but she didn't look dead, so they didn't want to bury her. So they stored her in a glass coffin in their home to keep her safe. Fast forward a few years, a prince comes to the dwarfs seeking shelter. He sees Snow White and insists they give her to him. He said she was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen, and if they gave her to him, he'd look at her every single day and make sure she was taken care of. They eventually gave in. The prince kept his word and spent almost all of his time with her, and would be sad on the rare occasion he had to leave her. The servants were annoyed with constantly moving the corpse around that one of them opened the casket, propped up Snow, and slapped her in the back, causing the apple to dislodge from her throat, and she woke up. The Princess Snow White agreed to marry the next day. The following morning, Snow White's mother went back to the mirror with her daily question, but was shocked to hear that the young queen was now the fairest in the land. Out of jealousy and anger, the evil queen went to the wedding and was overwhelmingly surprised to see her daughter at the altar, years after she'd killed her. Snow and her new husband forced her to put on red-hot iron shoes and dance until she died, to punish her for her wicked ways.
But that is it for today's video. Let me know in the comment section what princesses you want to know their real story from, because I think I'm going to dive a little into that. Usually I post like my ghost stories, but I'm kind of running out, so I decided to switch it up just a tad, give you guys something a little different. But don't worry, my ghost stories are still in here, just mixed in, okay? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you like this video or like videos like this where they're talking and doing their makeup, definitely subscribe, because like I said, I got some ghost stories coming at you and some princess stories too. So definitely subscribe if you haven't yet already, and I will see you next time with a new video. So I hope you have a great week. I'm gonna go post for Instagram real fast. Love you guys. Bye!